Imagine waking up tomorrow with a single thought in your mind. What if life doesn't have to be so hard? What if the weight you've been carrying, the stress, the overthinking, the endless to-do lists could just slip away? Picture, picture a world where you move through your days with ease, where challenges feel like invitations, not burdens. Sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? But what if it's not? What if life is actually easy and we've just been making it harder than it needs to be? Today, we're going to explore this idea together. Let's flip the script, ask some big questions, and see where this journey takes us. Ready? Let's dive in. Section 1. What if struggle is optional? Have you ever stopped to wonder why life feels like a constant uphill climb? We're taught from a young age that struggle is noble, that hard work defines success, and that anything worth having comes with sweat and tears. But what if that's just a story we've been told? What if struggle is optional? Think about it. What if the tension you feel in your shoulders right now, the one you barely notice until it's pointed out, could soften? What if the mental tug of war over your next decision could dissolve into clarity? Imagine approaching your day not as a battle to be fought, but as a dance to be enjoyed. Consider the river. It doesn't fight its way to the sea. It flows, winding around rocks, carving new paths when needed, but always moving forward with grace. What if you could live like that? What if the obstacles in your life aren't walls to break through, but simply bends in the river, guiding you somewhere beautiful? Take a moment. Breathe. Ask yourself, what if I stopped pushing so hard and trusted that things could work out? What would that feel like? Lighter, maybe? Freer? The truth is, we often create our own struggles by resisting what is. So, what if you chose to let go, just a little, and see where the current takes you? Section 2. What if you stopped fighting and just flowed? Let's go deeper. What if you stopped fighting and just flowed? Picture yourself in a moment of frustration. Maybe you're stuck in traffic, or you're wrestling with a problem at work. Your instinct is to clinch, to force a solution, to fight against the moment. But what if you didn't? What if instead you took a deep breath and let the moment be? Flow doesn't mean giving up. It's not about being passive or lazy. It's about aligning with the energy of life, moving with it instead of against it. Think of a surfer riding a wave. They don't try to control the ocean. They feel its rhythm, adjust their balance, and glide. What if you could surf through your challenges like that? Ask yourself, where am I fighting right now? Is it a relationship, a goal, a fear? What if you stopped seeing it as a fight and started seeing it as a chance to learn, to grow, to move with grace? Imagine the energy you'd save, the peace you'd feel. Flow is about trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the process. Trust that life is working with you, not against you. So what if you let go of the fight just for today and tried flowing instead? How might that change your perspective? Section 3. What if ease is already within you? Here's a thought that might surprise you. What if ease isn't something you need to chase? What if it's already inside you, waiting to be uncovered? We often think of ease as a destination, something we'll find when we have more money, more time, or fewer problems. But what if ease is a state of mind, a choice you can make right now? Think about a time when you felt truly at peace. Maybe it was watching a sunset, laughing with a friend, or getting lost in a hobby. In that moment, life wasn't hard. It was simple, joyful, easy. What if you could tap into that feeling more often, not by changing your circumstances, but by changing how you see them? Close your eyes for a second and picture a version of yourself who moves through life with calm confidence. This version of you doesn't sweat the small stuff. They don't get tangled in worry or what ifs. They trust that everything is unfolding as it should. That version of you already exists. It's just waiting for you to step into it. So, what if you started acting as if ease was your natural state? What if you believe deep down that you're already enough and life is ready to meet you halfway? Section 4. What if challenges are just invitations? Let's flip another perspective. What if the things we call problems aren't problems at all? What if they're invitations, gentle nudges from the universe to grow, to learn, to become more of who you're meant to be? Think about a challenge you're facing right now. Maybe it's a tough conversation you need to have, a goal that feels out of reach, or a fear that's holding you back. What if, instead of dreading it, you saw it as a gift? An opportunity to stretch, to discover your strength, to uncover something new about yourself. Consider a caterpillar in its cocoon. It doesn't fight the process of transformation. It surrenders to it, trusting that something beautiful is on the other side. What if your challenges are your cocoon? What if they're shaping you into a version of yourself you haven't met yet? The next time you face a hurdle, pause and ask, what is this teaching me? How is this inviting me to grow? What if this moment, as uncomfortable as it feels, is exactly what I need to become my best self? Section 5. What if you're already on the right path? Here's a big one. What if you're already exactly where you're supposed to be? We spend so much time worrying about whether we're doing life right. Are we in the right job, the right relationship, the right place? But what if there's no such thing as wrong? What if every step, every stumble, every triumph is part of a perfect, unfolding journey? Think about your life like a book. Every chapter builds on the last, leading you to the next page. You don't judge a book halfway through. You trust the author to tie it all together. What if you trusted the author of your life, whether that's you, the universe, or something bigger, to write a story that makes sense? Take a moment to look back. Think of a time when something felt like a disaster, but later you realized it led you somewhere amazing. Maybe a job loss opened the door to a better opportunity. Maybe a heartbreak taught you what you truly want in a partner. What if the moments that feel hard right now are just setting the stage for something incredible? What if you're already on the right path and all you need to do is keep walking, one step at a time? Section 6. What if joy is simpler than you think? Let's talk about joy. We often think of it as something big, winning the lottery, achieving a huge goal, or finding the one. But what if joy is simpler than that? What if it's in the small, everyday moments we overlook? The warmth of your morning coffee, the sound of birds outside your window, the smile of a stranger. What if you didn't need to chase happiness? What if it's already here, waiting for you to notice it? Try this. Right now, look around you. Find one thing that feels good, no matter how small. Maybe it's the way the light falls on your desk or the comfort of your favorite chair. Let yourself feel that tiny spark of joy. What if you made a habit of noticing these moments? What if you built your day around them, stringing them together like beads on a necklace? Joy doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It can be quiet, gentle, easy. So what if you stopped searching for happiness out there and started collecting it right where you are? How much lighter would your heart feel? Section 7. What if you let go of control? Here's a question that might sting a little. What if you let go of control? We love control, don't we? We plan, we strategize, we try to predict every outcome. But what if holding on so tightly is what's making life feel heavy? What if letting go could set you free? Think about a time when you tried to force something to happen. Maybe you pushed for a promotion, clung to a relationship, or obsessed over a deadline. How did that feel? Exhausting, right? Now think about a time when you let go, when you trusted the process and let things unfold. Maybe it was a spontaneous trip, a conversation that flowed effortlessly, or a moment when you just said, whatever happens, happens. What if you brought that energy to more of your life? Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you trust that life has a way of working things out. It's like planting a seed. You water it, you give it sunlight, but you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. What if you planted your dreams with love and then let them grow in their own time? What if you trusted that the universe is conspiring in your favor? How much easier would that feel? Section 8. What if you're enough right now? Let's close with a question that might just change everything. What if you're enough, exactly as you are? Not when you lose 10 pounds, get that degree, or check off every box on your list. Right now, in this moment, with all your flaws, your dreams, your quirks, what if you're already whole? We live in a world that tells us we need to be more successful, more productive, more perfect. But what if that's a lie? What if you're already carrying everything you need to live a life that feels good, that feels easy? Imagine waking up tomorrow and believing, truly believing, that you're enough. How would you move through your day? Would you smile more, worry less, take risks with a little more courage? You are not a project to be fixed. You are a story unfolding, a masterpiece in progress. What if you embrace that? What if you looked in the mirror and said, I'm enough, and meant it? What if you lived from that place of enoughness, letting ease and joy flow from there? So what if life is actually easy? What if the secret isn't in working harder, fighting more, or chasing some far off goal? What if it's in the way you see the world, the way you move through it, the way you trust yourself and the journey? You don't have to have all the answers today. You don't need to change everything overnight. But what if you started small? What if you asked yourself one of these questions each morning? What if you chose one moment to flow instead of a fight, to notice joy instead of stress, to trust instead of control? Life might not always feel easy, but maybe, just maybe, it's simpler than we make it. Maybe it's about choosing ease, one thought, one breath, one step at a time. So let's try it. Let's ask the questions, let's flip the perspective, and let's see how much lighter, brighter, and easier life can be. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on.